Hi friends, so this is gonna be a very different video. This is a long overdue video that is to celebrate 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. I can't even believe that we're already almost at 8K. I started my YouTube channel, honestly, in September of 2020, so it hasn't been too long. I did some videos before them, but I didn't really sit down and dedicate myself and say, hey, like, this is what we're doing. This is my channel. And yeah, so that's what's happened, and I wanted to show you guys one of my favorite sketchbooks in celebration. I would like to make a lot more art videos on the channel, because that's sort of my origin and I want to experiment with that, so expect tons of those. VTubing was only kind of a start to where I wanted this channel to go, and I'd like to take some more direction in art education. So this is my favorite sketchbook. I finished this sketchbook. Actually, I don't even know if it's fully finished, but it's pretty close. My junior/senior year of high school. This was maybe 3 to 4-ish years ago. I am currently 21 years old, and this sketchbook has been one of my favorites because this was before I let the mentality of what it's like to be an artist completely take over my mind with the self-doubt and everything. This sketchbook was really a free-flowing state of creativity, and I really showed myself what I could do. And this is a good example of something that you will be able to do as well, or a direction I think you could also take to make your sketchbook, like, you know, spice it up. Don't just sketch, but make it a full piece of work, a full creation that you can look back at and feel inspired in. Because, you know, a lot of us are always searching for inspiration, and, you know, sometimes the best inspiration is yourself, and that's why it's really important to work on masterpieces like this. So I like to cover all of my sketchbooks with tons of stickers. I have this Galaxy duct tape because the binding started to fall apart. I have the back here as well. And while we're here, I also started a content creation journal. I just wanted to talk to you guys about this. This is a journal that I journal in every time I'm done streaming or done making a YouTube video, and how I feel about it, and I sort of mark where my journey is going with content creation, and it's really helped my mindset and have a place to vent and to talk about how I'm feeling about my content. So if you haven't done something like that, I highly would recommend it. And just to show you an example of what I mean, here's another one of my sketchbooks with a ton of stickers. I only have one red bubble sticker on the back, but again, this is like something that you can do to sort of start getting that inspiration rolling. So let's hop into my sketchbook. So I'm not going to show the left page because it has a lot of personal information on it, but for the first page of my sketchbook, I usually like to do all of my colors and sort of list them out, mostly because it's fun and it helps with like my OCD and like organization tactics. So if you have Copic markers or something that you really enjoy as far as just marking all the colors you have, I would recommend doing this on your first page of your sketchbook because it's a really good way to solidify. Because there's a lot of times where I personally would open a sketchbook and I'm like, oh my god, the first page! What do I put on the first page? It's gotta be an epic drawing! But no, you can start with something like this to relieve some of that pressure, and I definitely want to start doing this more. This is my next page. So this was a giant yellow sticky note. My friend had given me like a bunch of different giant sticky notes, and I really liked drawing on them. So if you ever find sticky notes or something you want to color on, I highly recommend it. And then you can use something like washi tape. I have so much. You'll see a ton of different washi tapes in here of being able to put down other drawings that you might have done in another place, like if it was done on a napkin or done on a sticky note, whatever. This was a song that I really liked. I forget the name of the song, but throughout high school I was definitely a very, I don't want to say lonely person, but I was very much a loner, and I think that still shines and proves today, even though I stream on Twitch and my stream is growing and YouTube is growing pretty rapidly. I've always been a pretty I don't want to say a lonely person, but I'm really graveling in my self-image and my self-thoughts a lot of the times because I have very deep thoughts and I think a lot about a lot of things. So I'm very outgoing if you speak to me, but I usually prefer to sort of travel alone because I constantly feel this thing of just people not really understanding where I'm coming from or who I am. So that's kind of what that piece is based off of. These two pieces are two of my friends that I had in high school. This is Michaela, this is Abby, and I drew both of them because I wanted to sort of work on my observation skills as an artist. That's really important. And I also wanted to practice just using stuff I don't usually use. So this is a red gel pen, and this is all gray Copic markers. And if you ever mess an area up, you could use washi tape and put a sticky note on top, and as you can see, it gives this really cool effect. it makes it really, I don't know, it just makes it more interesting, and it's a good way to fix something that you want to fix while adding a little bit of spice to your sketchbook. Next, so for those, oh, see, there's the binding. That's why we've got the sticky, or that's why we've got the space gripped, the space duct tape. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. I'm gonna try to leave this footage as raw as possible instead of editing, because again, it's like a celebration video and I want it to be raw. So, okay, this is 𝐒𝐻. I forget the name of the skin, but I really used to play a lot of League of Legends. I used to be very addicted. In fact, League of Legends and Riot was a company I really wanted to work for a long time. I'd still love to contract out with them or something at some point, because they've really inspired a lot of me in my art journey. And I also played League of Legends competitively in high school, and our team won state champs actually my senior year. Instead of going to prom, I actually went to League of Legends state championship. So what a nerd, I'm such a nerd. Anyways, this is one of the 𝐒𝐻 skins. This is Star Guardian 𝐒𝐻, which is one of my faves. I use Copic markers and ink. And then up here is Pool Party Leona, which is another one of my favorite skins. If you couldn't tell, yes, I'm a support main. Of course I'm a support main. Gotta support everybody. Next, this is another giant orange sticky note that my friend gave me, and these are just some little doodles that I did. I never finished that one up there. This says rain. It makes me feel like I'm not crying alone anymore. Again, I think sketchbooks are a really great place to sort of journal out your feelings, or if you're ever having a rough time or rough day, it's really good to capture moments like that. And as you can see, I have a little sticker there as well. So again, you can add stickers really anywhere, and we have more washi tape. This is my favorite washi tape, actually. This is my absolutely favorite washi tape. This is one of my favorite pieces that I've actually ever done in my whole entire life, probably. This is Nami. This is a friend that I used to be pretty close with named Matt, and he was a Nami main, I was a Nami main, and I drew this for him. But yeah, so this is Copic markers and gel pen, and I just really liked how it turned out. It was probably one of my most, just one of my favorite pieces, especially like look at that gem up there. That turned out really well. And it was absolutely one of my favorites, because I just feel like all the colors meshed well and it blended beautifully. Next, this is my friend Michelle that I drew, the same concept on the earlier page. And again, I messed up the eyes. I don't remember. This was somebody I drew, but I don't remember who it was. And then this right here, I asked a bunch of different artists, of my friend artists, to draw eyes on a little slit of sticky note and then give it to me. And basically, I put all of everybody's different eyes together in my sketchbook. So this is another really cool thing you could do if you have any art friends at school. You could maybe do some sort of like collaborative page or something. And I thought, you know, eyes are pretty simple. Everybody likes drawing eyes. So then I added this on here and have a collection of a bunch of different people's work. And I put their names over here on the side. And yeah, it was super duper cool. And then this was my eye that I guess never made it into the collection. I just ended up putting it over here. This is one of my friend's pieces of work. This is Blue Star. She's from the Warrior Cat series, which we both loved. She drew that. And this is a character I drew. This is my friend Jenny. We were doing this podcast. I was in this journalism class, and this was like supposed to be her logo at the time. And little did I know, I'd major my first year in college in graphic design, and then this would not be probably a good logo at all, but it's okay, you know, we try our best. Next, this is another like piece of like, I don't know, weird paper that I found. So again, if you find really interesting or like cool pieces of paper, I highly recommend that you draw on them, and then again you can use some washi tape to tape it in. I really love wolves. I got this wolf like candle statue thing from my cousin for my birthday, where you can put incense in it and the smoke goes out the wolf's mouth like it's howling the smoke, and I guess I just saved that because I thought it was cool. This is again a bunch of like really random stuff. This is kind of like a, I don't remember this. The Shepherd's Crook. I think this is a character I made that had like a little sheep. I don't remember what her lore might have been though, but yeah. Next we've got, this is when I played Destiny 2 a lot. I forget, is this a hunter, I think? This has been a long time, oh my goodness. I was like really in love with the design of I believe it's a hunter, I don't know, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, or like a guardian or something. And yeah, I was really like pumped up by the design. I was like, oh, I gotta draw this is so cool. And then this is, I believe, a business card from somebody. Yes, a business card. So sometimes I like to save business cards as well, and I'll tape them in my sketchbook. Next we got, this is one of my favorite pairs of lips that I had ever drawn in my life. This is Copic marker, ink, and white gel pen, and I was like, look at those luscious lips, they look so good. I don't remember I drew it on a really like crappy page that everything else looked like trash, so I just cut out the lips and put them in my sketchbook and put a crown on top of them, I guess. Here's more with that sticky note effect that I talked about. That you could try. Here's another page. It looks like I left this page blank. Again, I really love this washi tape. It's very, very cute, very pretty. This is when I was doing some skin studies, so you can also do studies in your sketchbook. It helps a lot with sort of sorting your thoughts out. Here's another really good example of washi tape plus sticky notes. So I did sort of like a panel thing here. You can see the hair here, lips, hair, eyes. So this is another really cool technique or tactic you can use in your sketchbook to make things look really neat. This is some more critique that I had up there. Here's another sticky note. I tried that sort of same concept. Again, this is when I was studying different shapes. So literally always start with basic shapes. So this was sort of me showing myself the conversion of, you know, what basic shapes look like going over to a final product. And then I did some clothes and like folding studies here. This is when I was really obsessed with the Selena Gomez song, Wolves, so I wrote the lyrics down. I usually do that whenever there's like some song that I'm really into, I'll write the lyrics down in my sketchbook. Next, this was when I was going through a pretty rough time in high school with romance and love life, I should say. And this piece right here was, I was going through a really rough time, like I said, so this was sort of me getting my emotions out. And as you can see again with this page, there's a lot of scribblage going on and a lot of stuff where I just wasn't confident in who I was or myself. So, and again, this is really important stuff to get out and to document into your journal. And even like with the face, I had this thing with forgetting about my face and like being obsessed with body image and stuff. So, and lots of girls and young females deal with that. So don't feel alone if you feel like you struggle with that. This is some concepts for one of my pieces for my art class. I remember I was trying to communicate this girl that was coming out of a computer screen because she felt like she was trapped in the computer world or the AI world. And it's weird that this is here because I still feel that way, especially with being a content creator, like streaming in YouTube now, as I feel very a part of the PC and like a machine rather than being myself and being this separate entity. So it's very interesting that this is something that carries over from high school. Here is some more just randomness, I guess. This is another piece that I was really proud of at the time. I really liked the way it came out. I really liked using these gray Copic markers. Again, Shelter, one of my biggest inspirations. If you haven't seen the music video, I highly recommend you check out Shelter. Really, really good stuff. So again, just really experimenting with this gray marker. Here's another giant sticky note where I drew this fairy girl sitting up on the ledge. Drew a bunch of eyes and boxes here. This is when I was coming up with a game concept with my cousin, I believe, about this cardboard box that had to maneuver via whatever he had. So we pretended like he came out of an attic, and we're like, what would be stuffed away in an attic that he could use as like limbs and stuff? So this is a umbrella arm, book arms, baseball bat arms. So we were like trying to come up with all these things. It was for a game concept that we are working on. So these are just all pretty much concept art designs for this robot creature. Here's more of him. Look at how cute he is. And I was coming up with like different little notes. Oh, the feet would be like the baseball because it would be able to roll like a wheel, right? So how could it move and like function correctly? And this was just pretty much a bunch of note taking on that. And then I was trying to come up with enemies, which would be like the dumpster truck threatening to take away his junk that he needs to maneuver. Alright, I can only show you part of this page because there are some swears here, and this is a family-friendly channel, so that is some figure drawing that I was doing, and now we're gonna go back over here while I flip. Alright, so I did some more figure drawing. This is practicing getting more into like breaking the body down into basic shapes and like cylinders and spheres and stuff. This was, I don't know, I was doing some perspective and I thought it was funny to make like a box man. So sometimes you gotta do silly stuff in your sketchbook to really like just let those ideas loose. Here's some more anatomy studies I did. I believe I was following a Udemy course on anatomy at the time that was talking about how 3D shapes really are, and so I was working on a bunch of legs and arms. Here's some more of that. I covered a lot of things too because this is NSFW with my sticky notes, especially if people are just flipping through my sketchbook. So we're gonna keep that covered up, but here's some more stuff I was working on, back of the legs. Same thing here, more anatomy, another NSFW thing, but yes. And here I have, again, more NSFW stuff, but if you want to cover that, you always can with like extra sheets of paper. So that's what I did like with this axolotl drawing and this like little iguana thing. And again, I just did a bunch of sort of stuff with pen. Here are some more notes. This was a girl I drew and I couldn't draw the head, so I just put a planet up there and said, looks like I got my head in the stars. See, so you can always make it meaningful even if you can't draw it. Next we got another giant orange sticky note that it looks like I never finished. This is when I had red hair at the time. Red hair was really one of my big go-tos as far as hair colors go because I dye my hair a lot. This is a cat that I drew and I used a lot of pinks for the shading and I actually really liked how that turned out. That's something I definitely want to use again. It's very pretty. This was a friend that I met. He had a husky named Jake, and I really loved his husky, so I was like, I'm gonna draw his husky, and I drew his husky, and there he is. And this is my friend Leah. I drew this of her as well for her. This drawing is a drawing one of my friends did for me way back. She always did a little bit of doodles in my sketchbook for me sometimes. This is another one of my favorite drawings ever done. This was a fox that I used, I believe this was watercolor mixed with Copic markers. And yeah, this is like a fiery fox that I did. I really resonate with the fox as one of my spirit animals. So again, I just sort of explored that fiery, vibrant feeling. Here is a drawing I did of one of my friends that I had for a while named Mira. She had this photo on her Instagram of her like hanging out of the car with her hair blowing in the wind, and I was like, I just felt so inspired. So I was like, I'm gonna draw it. And then I drew it and it turned out great. This is when I was studying some lighting from the famous James Gurney. This is another page that I did of an owl. I was starting to experiment with some animals a little bit, and I was like, oh, I want to draw some animals. This is one of my friends that I had back when. This is my cousin that I drew. I have no idea who that is. This is Last Feast of the Wolves. She's an Instagram model. And I really loved how beautiful she looked, and she always had different hair color. She's just very pretty, and I looked up to her a lot, her makeup and her fashion style, and so I drew her. I used to work at Starbucks long ago, and I really liked this anniversary package that I had, so I saved that and taped that in here. This is my aunt. This is her daughter / my cousin. Here are some more just random sketches I did. This is a red colored pencil I used. I really like using these now. It's one of my faves to use. And I also like to keep track of things that I really like. For example, like that says marveling. And when I learned about that word, to be filled with wonder and astonishment, I was like, oh, marveling! Like, it's such a beautiful word! So keeping track of stuff like that in your sketchbook too is really fun. Here are some more stuff that I worked on. That wolf looks very just insane. More wolf stuffs. This was, I don't even know what this was, but this is a character. We had to do an emotion project to show an emotion throughout a piece, and these were a bunch of different thumbnails and sort of different ideas that I had to come up with. Here are some more of those ideas, and I made notes on the side as well with my thumbnails. This was an idea I had for a poster that I did called AI, and then I ended up drawing something over it that the markers bled through. So I really liked how this turned out. I hate the nose, but I liked the colors a lot. This like aqua-y, purpley, blue feeling. Here's a robot that I did that was for my AI poster. These were some more still lives and observations I did. I was at lunch and at a study hall and I saw this girl on her phone. Everybody's always on their phones. You know, I noticed that a lot when I was doing observational drawing is everybody's on their phone, nobody's interacting with each other. And it was this just really sad moment to realize when I was drawing people. I was like, look at all these people who just are like sucked into their device and not paying attention to anything. It's a very weird thing to experience as an artist drawing every single person like that in our generation. And then this is my lunch that I had gotten at the time. I did a still life of the plate with the apple juices sitting on them. Here's some more doodles and sketches that I did. These are some traffic cones that were stacked up at gym. I think I was sitting on the sidelines for gyms for gym because of something. Yeah, oh, here my note is. Look, I look around and everyone I draw is on their phones except for a few. That was 1/9/18. Wow, that's 2018. That's crazy. So long ago. That was at gym too, that people are on their phones. Yikes. This is when I was sitting on the bleachers and there's these two girls in front of me that I drew. There's another girl that was standing out in the distance that I drew. And she has a little thing that says, why do people suck? This was another drawing I did that I was really proud of. I was super duper proud of the hair and how it turned out. And on the other side, since the marker bled through, I wanted to try and change it and turn it into something that would be really cool, so I did sort of this cyborg feeling tracing the shapes from behind. So again, you can also try to mess around and do cool stuff like that with your creativity. This is when I was working on landscape stuff, because I was like, I suck at landscapes, let's work on some more. Here's some more thumbnails I did. This is a sticky note that's not mine, actually. I found that on a desk in guided study on February 2nd, 2018. So sometimes when I find stuff too, I'll like take it and I'll be like, keep it as a recollection of the past. Here is some more drawings that I did. I really liked how this bubblegum aesthetic turned out. I drew this little kitty and my friend, I believe, colored it? Or no, my friend drew it and I colored it, I think. I don't remember. Oh no, I did the line art and my friend Abby did the coloring. And then 𝐄𝐻 this is when I was getting really into 𝐄𝐻. It's my favorite anime, some of y'all know. I actually have a poster right there of 𝐄𝐻. And then I drew 𝐒𝐮𝐲 as well. So again, I was getting really into Copic markers. I messed up her lips really badly, so then I cut it out and I did like this trickling effect of like 𝐒𝐻𝐑 with his ghoul eye, his normal eye, and then I wrote 𝐄𝐻. So I don't know, this is the stuff I do when I mess up, I guess, and you could do it as well. Here's another concept for a final that I was doing. Here's the 𝐄𝐻 stuff. This was a dragon that I did. I actually have the painting somewhere, I believe. Actually, maybe I lost it in the corruption of my last PC. But this was a dragon that I was doing. I was studying it and taking notes about, you know, what the dragon would look like and how. So you can see how much I was improving too already towards the end of the sketchbook. This was a piece of decorative paper that I wanted to draw on, and I put some washi tape down again so you can get some really cool effects if you use other types of paper. So I drew some ink on this, and I really, really like how the hair turned out. Like, this is another one of my favorite probably doodles that I did because I had a lot of variety in my line work. This is some really cool washi tape too I found that were like ticket booth washi tape. It was, I loved it. I still have it. Here was some more animal practice that I did, quick like gesture animal practice. I was very into Art Nouveau when we were learning about it. It's a art movement, and it was a lot about beautiful girls and flowy movement. So that's when I started doing a lot of pieces like this, because I was like, Art Nouveau, and this is a lot of how I got my hairstyle, or where I developed my really beautiful flowing hair from, because I was just so in love with that movement. Here is another really exciting page. I had some really cool washi tape my friend gave me up here. This is 𝐒𝐬 and 𝐒𝐿. This was near Valentine's Day, back when 𝐒𝐬 and 𝐒𝐿 are two of my favorite characters, and I was really, really inspired by the documentary that League had put out, that Riot had put out, talking about the development of their characters, which is absolutely mind-blowing and phenomenal to me. This is another really pretty drawing that I made. I was really in love with the eyes and such and the hairstyle, and I used that ticket paper, as I said, that I really liked before. She has this really cool like nose ring in there too, but yeah, this is, whoa! Here's some more work. This is my friend Rihanna. She was in my gym class. I started working with more Art Nouveau sort of feeling stuff again. Somebody else drew that hair that's not mine. Here's another Art Nouveau thing that I had done, and I was like, oh, this could be a cool tattoo design. Destiny! And I was like, yes. Here's the cat that I drew. More big sticky note stuff. I was just drawing more still lives. This is sort of random. Here I wanted to do a bunch of studies of different faces. I guess I never got all the way through. My motivation must have fled. This was a still life of a girl when I was sitting at a coffee shop. There's this coffee shop I really enjoyed going to a lot, and I'd sit and I would draw people that I see, and this was like the ledge with all the different props and things they had up. So again, another still life. Observational drawings are very, very good for helping improve your skill. This was another concept for a piece of art I did. Here's another Art Nouveau sort of style drawing I was attempting. Here is more scribblage with my pen. This is actually another pen piece that I really liked. I really captured like this mood, I guess. I felt like this girl with a sun hat. Tried to recapture the mood, maybe failed a bit. I did some more still lives and took notes. So there's a lamp, there's a chair up there. Took notes on it. And those are some notes actually about like the people and what they were doing around me. I said 4 dudes talking about leadership. This guy said true leadership comes with you. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, true leadership comes with you, and when you start to get feedback, you may act on those fears instead of raw leadership. Ooh, see, that's good. This is why I keep track of that stuff, guys. This is why I keep track of that stuff. I was eavesdropping this conversation. I was like, yo, that guy just said some smart stuff. Let's put it down. Here's some more just sort of figure drawing stuff that I did, more critique. Here's another, this was actually one of my favorite pieces I've ever done too. I have the colored version somewhere, but I did this billboard concept for a fountain of youth. So in the future, we were coming up with like futuristic concepts, and I was like, ooh, a fountain of youth billboard. You know how you see advertisements on the side of the road? I was like, what would that look like? So I tried to make it look like this girl that was rising out of this like fountain of youth pond with the clock behind her and the numbers flying. I was gonna do a plant study here. I took a lot of notes, failed to do any drawings, I suppose. Here's another sort of still life that I did of two girls sitting at that same coffee shop. This was for a t-shirt concept that I don't think I ever actually entered the contest, but I learned about this word serendipity, which is a really beautiful word and sort of means like things, I don't even remember. I think it means like things happening at the exact right time for a reason. It's like serendipitous, like that all these things would fall into a line at this exact moment. And this was the drawing I did for that t-shirt design. This was my mom. We were at this competition or something. No, we were at some like sort of art event, and we had gotten like a pack of free colored pencils, and I only had these colors, and I was like, I'm gonna try to draw you, Mom. I don't think she looked that miserable at the time. I don't know why I drew her like that, but yes. This is a piece somebody did of me at the time. It was another artist I ran into. He did a quick doodle of me. Again, I don't think I was that angry at the time. I don't know why he drew my face like that, but yes. Here was some me experimenting, just grabbing random markers and seeing what I could come up with. And there's more of that character when I fleshed her out a little bit more. She was like a vegetable. This is my friend Jenny. I did this piece in ink and watercolor, I believe, and that turned out pretty nicely. I did it on another piece of paper, but then I taped it in, and again I messed up the shoulder, so I just put in a new piece of paper for that. Here was when I got into learning a little bit about doing like some side sketches with my pencil. So I was using a lot of the edge of my pencil to make all these marks. So that was kind of a new thing I was experimenting with. More sticky note stuff, more doodles. This is my friend Taylor. I drew her, we were sitting at lunch and I drew her, she was sitting across the table. Here are some proportion studies I was doing. Eyes, more Art Nouveau styled stuff. These are three like princess characters I did. So here is one. Here was another one. She was like a sun goddess thing, and here's another one. This is when I was studying eyes. So I did a bunch of studies talking about the different edges of the eye, and then I wanted to do sort of a colored version with my Copics. So that's what that ended up being. Here was some more anatomy practice that I was doing. This is another still life I did. Pretty sure this was actually one of my very first detentions. I think I was in detention when I did my pencil case and my water bottle. I don't remember what I got in detention for, so don't ask me. More eye studies. This was when I was at the library. I actually had a concussion when I was in high school, and I was out of gym and out of everything for a very long time. I'd spend pretty much the whole day in the library, and this was a girl that I saw. Her hairstyle is kind of like this, and then I turned her into like this mechanic type of character. And then I wanted to like pair some writing with it. So the writing I ended up pairing with this character was, luminescent blonde woman with white wavy hair like the ocean's white caps walks by me in the library and turns to me saying, I hear you're an amazing artist just through reputation. She lets loose a pearly white smile and walks away. So I really liked doing stuff like that too, you know, if I can narrate or sort of add some more vision to my storytelling capabilities. And then here's some more sources of light study. More light studies. And this is a concept I had about this mermaid being trapped in an aquarium, and then these people sort of looking at the mermaid that was stuck in there. More characters. This is my friend Morgan. She didn't actually have green hair. Most of my characters didn't actually have colorful hair like this, or people that I saw. I just imagined the world in full color, so that's kind of how these things were born, and I was like, oh yeah, let's make this super flowy green hair, and this is colored pencil and ink. This is when I was doing some art studies of other people's work. So Cyril Rolando is this artist. I really, really love his work, so I would print out a bunch of stuff and tape them in. The reason I love his work so much is because he has a lot of surrealism in his work, and surrealism is sort of something that's like, it's very... It's these really odd concepts of things that you could really only see in your mind because it couldn't actually happen in real life. So this is an example of like this drummer that's going so hard with his anger and like the heat that he's literally like making lava boil, right? This one here is this character that has this little person sitting on the eyelash. This one here is this person crying so much, but the guy is trying to this is the girl and this is the guy trying to wipe up her sorrow and sort of help her out with all these like tissues and all this paper, but he can't seem to clear the baggage that this girl is going through. So I really love Cyril Orlando. He's one of my favorite artists and biggest inspirations. His name is 𝐒𝐲𝐿 on Instagram, but he's also, I believe, a psychologist, so that's why he said how he, like, a lot of his pieces were sort of representative of the client, so I think he got a lot of his emotions out by doing pieces based off of his clients into the form of art to sort of like recycle that energy. So that was really cool because just the concepts of all these different characters and things they're going through. And again, I'd really love to work on more pieces like this at some point. Here's some more of his work. This is another one I really liked of paper boats and this girl's hair, which is water. And then this one up here, which is like this girl screaming at this lion. So again, I really love those concepts and I'd like to execute it more. This was a like character. I really liked the sketch, and when I colored it, I felt like I ruined it. So I don't know if you guys have ever felt that way, where you color something and then you just ruin it and you're like, dang it! But that's what happened here. Here's another character I worked on. It took me a while to actually get into the coloring of this one, but more Art Nouveau sort of aesthetic, and her hair was like fiery like the sun, and that's colored pencil and ink, and I really enjoyed how that turned out as well. And here, see, again, my inspiration of music at the time. Even if it makes me blind, I just want to see the light. That's a Han Solo song. Here's some more eyes that I did on this page. Here's another girl I wanted to eventually color but never really got around to doing so. Some elf girl. This was actually a really cool thing we did. So one time our creative writing teacher in my senior year of high school, she brought us all like these color palette things, and she wanted us to assign a word to what each color made us feel, and then we had to make a poem based off of it. So I thought that was cool, so I saved that. This is another drawing I did. Again, you could see how much better my art had been getting towards the end of this sketchbook. This is when I was doing some school studies from Andrew Loomis. And here's some scribbles, and that's pretty much it of the end of the sketchbook. And then I believe on the last page I have this Rubik's Cube that I drew and cut out and taped on the back. So yeah, that's the end of the sketchbook. Again, I really like to revisit this feeling in my life. This feeling of being able to be free with my art and my emotions, and just have it sort of as a journal in a flow state of mind. I really think it's beautiful. I think if you are struggling with keeping a sketchbook, start to try to think about how you can incorporate really creative ideas like this, because it can really be a good thing to look back on and understand your feelings and who you are as an artist as you grow and move further. So again, I'd really like to visit this again. I don't draw in my sketchbook enough. I do way too much digital art. I love digital art, but I love traditional as well, and I gotta remember that about myself as an artist. And yeah, so thank you guys again so much for 5K. I know we're well past 5,000 subscribers, but hopefully you enjoyed this video. I know this is really long. If anybody got to the end of this video, thank you for listening to my rambles about art. And this is me. This is who I am. This is raw. And hopefully you guys enjoy this part of me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.